of the Bommyknockers podcast with me, Cam.
G'day, guys. Me, Yarp.
I'm Ryan, and I'd like to say a special thank you to all our listeners.
Oh.
Sweetheart. I'm Tim. And tonight, we're just like every other episode, we're going to take it off with a subject, a theme. And the theme for this evening is boundaries. And we've been talking about this a little bit just before the show, and there's just so many different kinds of boundaries you can cross in your life, whether it's boundaries with the law, boundaries with your parents, just basic social boundaries at a bar. And
Work boundaries.
Man, so many.
Love boundaries.
Pretty much.
Love knows no bounds.
But see, being in our society,
And
that's
the problem with sexual predators these days. Love knows no bounds.
being in our society, we have almost anything that's worth something has a boundary to it. It's like everything that we've made, we've always set a line at the end saying you can push it up to this.
Mm.
You know, and I think that makes boundaries such an important part of our lives, because we face the thought of crossing boundaries every single day.
Yeah.
Every single day. And it's like, and I think the more brat you have in you, the more you just think about it all so much, and that never goes away. And Ryan is someone that I've noticed has the brat in him, and I don't know if it's, well, from stories I've heard, you've always had it in you, but you definitely still have it as an adult. The brat.
I guess it's something. It's something that you can just if you want to prove a point to yourself every day, just learn how to just tell people to fuck off. I guess, I don't know. It's about, I mean, whether it's boundaries or not, it's whether you pay attention to boundaries put in place in a social situation, and are they really laws? They're not. It's just the way to act, and everyone's got their own set of morals and laws, beliefs, whatever.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you can tell yourself anything. Just because everyone else might think that something's a boundary. If you tell yourself, no, that's not, then you have no qualms smashing
the best way to live is don't try and make anyone else feel bad unless they're being a dick. And if they're being a dick, just rip into them.
It's a great philosophy.
It is.
I think it's a great philosophy.
Yeah. And it's so basic, but so true.
All the rest of the rules can be broken as long as you're not fucking anyone else's day over, unless they deserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down. I turned the heater down, guys.
Yeah,
It's toasty in here.
We've got the heater turned up. I think Yarp has been...
I've got ulterior boundaries.
He's been looking at different sorts of web pages lately than his usual.
Really?
Fetish.
Cross the moral boundaries.
That's what 1,200 gigs of internet's not going to be enough.
Hey? It won't be. There's no point bringing in personal jokes. But I guess, hey Cam.
Yo.
What I want to ask you, remember when we first met and I ran my hand down your face?
Yeah, I remember it.
If you want to put like a percentage of boundary crossing, or maybe meters past the fence, how far did that one go? Do you feel like you've got maybe like an elastic? There's some elasticity.
I reckon it would have been an endearing thing.
Yeah, it was. I think I'm fairly patient when it comes to my body being touched. Patient / seedy.
See, I'm laughing for another reason.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay.
You go.
Tim likes to break a boundary that I've set for him, which is, no, you can't run up to me and put your palm on my belly and then jiggle it around. It wasn't a rule for a long time. It was just something in my head that every time he did it, I'd just go, ooh, I hate this. And then I set him the rule, and now he hovers his hand over there to show that he knows it's a rule.
Like me, Cam and I probably have the most, I would say, illustrious bellies in the room.
I reckon.
And
It was a belly tickle, not a belly jiggle.
It's not a tickle if the palm is flat.
Go fuck yourself.
And the jiggle is thorough.
You can't tickle someone with a flat palm.
Yeah, no way.
You're not running
was a
up
tickle.
like maybe Moby Dick. So you great big white whale, leave Captain Ahab alone. Oh shit! Don't rub people's large bellies.
Hey, medium.
Yeah, fair play. Fair play.
I don't regret it.
I know you don't.
Once I was in computer class and the teacher walked up behind me and started giving me a shoulder massage at an all-boys school.
Yeah, it's crossing the boundary.
Dad was fucking furious.
You go home. Oh, I got felt up today
Yeah,
in computer class. I was just learning DOS.
basically, yeah.
Man, did you say anything at the time, or you just kind of
I think
tensed?
man was
Just-
the problem.
I can't remember. I think I jiggled my shoulders away.
Yeah.
Dad asked me if I popped him in the nose. I was like, come on, Dad. You need to come down to school. I've already been caught with weed at school. You don't want me to pop a teacher in the nose, do you?
Pop being a closed-fisted slap.
Yeah. Oh, belly tickle.
Oh, you go, yeah. Tickle him good, mate.
I don't want to encourage him, so
I'm currently
drop my
on.
pants and
I'm currently on Dry July, and I remember.
Oh,
One of
you're
my,
on Dry July.
I am. Yeah, that's why
Are
I'm
you
drinking
doing-
black coffee.
Are you doing it for Will's sake, or?
No, I'm doing it because I know that I feel good at the end of it. At the end of each month, I feel a little bit clearer.
Because I reckon, yeah, well, I think that's a good thing, because I was going to have a little chat to you, because you've been pushing your own boundaries.
That's right. That's
a little
true.
bit too hard.
I think you've been pushing society's boundaries. Full stop.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Although I don't know if I've
Like, I used
spoken
to think it was making up for lost time, but now I think you...
ahead of the lost.
like, yeah,
We've all gotta catch up now.
People now, like,
Yeah.
you're lapping people.
Yeah.
You're forging ahead, like you basically got a brand new
Trailblazer.
pair of flux capacitors on your feet. You're just fucking rocking through time, making your own time.
That's part of the reason I'm doing it, to be honest. And I can't remember if I've spoken about this on the podcast, so stop me if I have, but totally went past my own mental boundary a couple of weeks ago. Had 2 massive nights in a row. Well, it was 3. The first night I had about 4 hours sleep, and then the next 2 I just charged through. And after the first night, in the afternoon after the first night, I was like, this is fine, this is sweet. And then I realised when I was at the party that I was at, oh man, I have to go home and help my housemate clean out the backyard. And I thought, oh, well, I'm not late, like it's in an hour. And I said it out.
Just to give our listeners a background, because I know I contributed to the backyard, because I used to live where you live now.
Yeah.
And I do believe it grew exponentially from when I left, because it was pretty huge. But cleaning out the backyard wasn't really the backyard; it was someone else's property, wasn't it? That you filled with rubbish.
Yeah, it's 3 years. 3 years of parties where every cigarette, bottle, or piece of broken crockery got thrown over our back fence, and then one day
What happened when
we
Cheers
got in
broke?
trouble. They went over there too. What happened when me and you set ladders on fire and umbrellas over the back fence? Anyway, when I realised that I had to go home from this party, I said it out loud to someone, thinking that they'd just be like, "Oh yeah, all good," and they were. But the emotion that I felt in that moment was pure panic and sadness, and I almost felt like crying. And I was like,
Because you had to leave the party.
because I had to leave
Really?
the party, yeah, and it was more
Is
because
that the first time you've ever left the party?
No. All it is following through with FOMO. Like, it's like, oh, I don't want to do this because of FOMO. You know the FOMO, and you just fucking opened up the front door and sat in a big leathery FOMO recliner and FOMO'd yourself back home.
You're right. And I went home and it was all fine. And then I continued on, like had heaps more drinks, and then went out the next night. But the most confronting and horrible part about the whole thing is when I had a shower before going out the second night, standing in the shower, and my brain just clicked into this weird anxious mode. And I'm not normally an anxious person who has anxiety or panic attacks, but this was heavy. I just ended up thinking about myself, and it was just like I was thinking, hey, look at all those annoying parts about your personality. Hey, how about the fact that sometimes when you tell jokes, it's just to put somebody down, and I couldn't get out of this loop, and I was like, oh my god.
Is that when you called me and got me to tell you kids fairy tales over the phone?
Yes.
I demanded, I would do it for you, man. I would do it for you.
It was definitely around
Like I
that
laugh,
time.
but good on you.
Yeah.
Good on
Yeah.
you for recognising and
Yeah, so I need to chill out a bit and need to respect the boundaries of my brain, and one of those boundaries is sleep
fairy
every night.
tales did you tell him?
Yeah.
He told me Fox and the Hound without saying it was Fox and the Hound.
Yeah.
Is that a fairy tale?
Oh, well, kid's story.
you I want to.
What was the other? I think you might have made the
Burke
other
in
one
his
up.
backyard.
I made the other one up, and it was
Burke's back.
the wolf duck.
Oh, yeah.
Did you
Have
make
you
it
made
up?
up your own fairy tale?
Yeah.
Tell us.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, cheers.
Can you
Yeah.
tell it? Wolf
Yeah,
and the Duck.
So it's
you maybe make it a bit
called
more
the
naughty?
wolf duck,
Oh, fuck
Yeah.
that.
and so
As an enemy?
As
so-
an enemy,
What if
yes,
it's your
but-
mate?
But
So-
just as something you may have to encounter at some stage. Imagine a duck with a wolf's head. I'll be fine with a wolf with a duck's head.
Yeah.
so
The weirdest looking animal in the world.
there was this little duck, and he hadn't learned how to fly yet, and everyone just, when it was winter, just was taken off, and he still couldn't fly, and he was left by himself all alone. And the wolves came at night, and the wolves were going to eat him. And one thing he learned is how to deal with people. And so he got up and he started telling jokes and being entertaining. And the wolves laughed, and they kept him. And after a while, he became their leader. And when the other ducks came back from like the next summer, he led the wolves into attack to fuck them all up and kill all of the other ducks.
That's a great story.
It's a story of retribution.
yeah.
It's shocking, and it's something we shouldn't teach children. But I guess
No, I
Talking
think we
about that,
should.
I think that's a great thing too, and that's a one boundary that everyone always has a good opinion on, is what is too real to teach children. And old fairy tales, man, are brutal. Like they've changed them so much, like Disney and that, to
they're
make
wrapped
them
up
nice.
in allegory and
Like
and
the old
fairy
Hansel
tale,
and
obviously,
the
but
old Hansel and Gretel, the kids didn't get away. They got
opinion is that,
eaten. They got eaten.
I don't think kids should be hidden from anything.
No.
Kids should be
Look.
taught right from the start. This is what the world's
Hang
like,
on.
and this is what you need to think about.
I think that like
Not
yes,
this is.
you look at our parents and you look like the older generation has gotten us through to where we are now. What's so bad about it? But you look back and you say, well, African Americans had such a huge struggle. So did women. Now, you know, what were those? How much of that came from fairy tales? And you look back at things like at
You're
dolls.
right.
You had the gollywogs and
Yeah.
you know, blackface dolls and things like that. Like it's something.
Did
that-
it come from fairy tales? I just think it came
Look,
from
well,
general
no.
upfuckery. Like everyone.
Well, it's up fuckery, definitely, but why have propaganda to support it? Like you maybe take that shit out of it, and then say, all right, you little up
But
fuckery
they've-
bastard. Here's a fucking level playing field.
They've changed a lot of things, and I think, I don't know, like for certain reasons, like in schools now they don't sing "Bar Bar Black Sheep," they sing "Bar Bar Rainbow Sheep."
It's not enough. It's
That's
the wrong
stupid.
syllables.
Now that they
That's
hate
fucking
homos.
bullshit because there
wasn't a
has
music
never
teacher.
been a rainbow sheep except for on maybe like a hair dye commercial or a fucking paint advert or something like that. Rainbow sheep don't exist.
Bar,
Why-
Rainbow Sheep.
Why you
have
say? Why you
any
say?
Did they actually sing
Why you
that?
say bar
Fucking
black
hell.
sheep? Why is your family all on the dole? Hang on. Shut up. You laugh because it's shocking. You laugh because it's shocking. Bar black sheep. Why is your family all on the dole? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's the only way we know. Like, well, mate, something like that. Well, seriously, why don't we look at you know?
Why are they on the?
You know, we took away that part, but now there's still those stereotypes there. We need to fucking flip shit on its head. I felt like saying on its head, nigga, but
But you
I
did
realised that would have gone. I did.
You.
No,
Thank
this
God
is
you didn't say
it's a great topic,
Yeah, it's
Tim. This one about what is right to tell children.
And what is that boundary of how
I
far
don't-
you can go?
My personal opinion is that there is no boundary. Kids should know exactly how the world works from as early an age as possible, and you teach them how to deal with it. You don't fucking pretend that it doesn't exist, and pretend as long as they as long as you have them under control, that it doesn't exist. Kids need to know what the fucking world's like and how to deal with it.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, no matter how good or bad.
I'm of two minds because What's up?
My sister just Snapchatted me a photo. This is something that I was on Snapchat just then, guys. Something that my brothers and sisters like to do is whenever they go home, to the parents' house, is take photos and post them to Facebook of the photos in frames down the hallway.
Oh yeah.
And we'll put this up on the Bommyknockers Facebook page. I guess it can be. We'll do a profile about everyone, and for 1 week only, I'll let you know when it is. This will be my profile picture, but I'm going to pass it around and get a just maybe some feedback about what people think about what I look like when I was 11 years old.
We know it's
I'm looking forward to
We
it.
already know it's going to be horrible. Confirmed.
What sort of haircut? Describe my haircut there.
It's like someone snipped the bottom of your bicycle helmet and just left the cap of your.
So
yeah.
basically you're saying penis haircut.
Well, you said penis haircut, mate. I said half a bike helmet.
Pass it on to Cam. You've had too long. Hey, get off, mate.
Fuck, you do look evil there as well, eh? You look naughty as fuck. Anyone vouch for the naughtiness of this man?
Yeah, he's thinking of some plots.
Yeah.
Oh man, you look straight out of like the Forrest Gump movie or something like that. This is like old school.
All right.
It's good. Enjoyed it. And you do look like a little shit of a kid, eh?
You can always tell a shitty kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not saying you're a shitty kid, but I would hate to have been your mate. I'd hate to have known you. I'm glad we didn't bump into each
My
other.
fucking hairdresser must have been having a laugh. But fucking serious?
I think your old man would have asked
hang
her
on,
for
hang
it.
on.
Or
Shut
him.
the fuck up. I've asked for this. I'm like, yeah, give me an undercut or give me a bowl cut or whatever. It's an undercut that I've asked for. And seriously, he should have thinned out the top. I've got too thick a hair because I have a knob. I have pretty much like a fucking. If you were to draw a penis on a blackboard, the silhouette of the outline of my hairdo
Would match.
is a fucking like
Geometrically huge knob.
what's the how do you say when you anatomically correct knob? No, don't say it.
What? You just said it. What do you?
I know.
What's the question?
No, I was thinking about it because I kept on saying geometrically correct,
Oh.
and it's like a knob is not a
How
geometrical.
symmetrical was my penis-shaped
Imagine if,
head?
imagine if knob was a geometrical shape. You had to learn like in
Get your compass. Here's your compass.
your maths class, and you learn oh, these are the the laws surrounding a triangle, and all the inner angles add up to what is it 180 degrees.
Yes.
These are the laws of a triangle.
The helmets.
Now these are the laws of a knob.
Would they base it on the helmet that a speed cyclist wears?
Where it goes pointy at the back.
Nah, well look. When was the last time you saw basically any bicycle helmet you can flip forward and put it on the end of maybe a telephone pole or something of a similar girth, because I imagine that's
Like a log.
and it will look sort of semi-anatomically correct as a penis knob. But one of those racing helmets, they've got a severe spoiler
Yeah.
at the back. It's like someone's got maybe a large sort of drag queen eyelash on the end of their knob.
Yeah, it is.
Has anyone recently had the feeling that somebody crossed a boundary with them? And I don't know whether it's social, whether you were touched, like whether somebody went in for a hug. Something that happens to me all the time, probably happens to all of us, is when you say goodbye to 2 friends and 1 stranger or a person you don't know that well. And you go, see you later, friend, see you later, friend. And then you make eye contact accidentally with the third person. You go, oh, come on. And you give them a more aggressive hug than you've ever given a real friend, where you're both slapping hard and pulling them in tight. That's always weird.
I
love those hugs, man.
But that is
the other way.
that's the best way to deal with
I'm
it.
like,
Yeah.
hug. Yeah, good to meet you, mate.
Do you tap their shoulder with your free hand as well to make it right?
Depends how much I had to
It totally
do with them.
Yeah.
exactly. It all depends on how much you've talked and the minor things that you've said to each other. Could be the difference between a catch you later, man. Like if you haven't really clicked.
See you later, lackluster individual.
But if you, that's kind of what you're saying when it's just the handshake and the leave when you've hugged the other 2 people in the room. But you know, I think sometimes you've got to go, nah, I'm going in for this. I'm going to flip what is. You're basically looking ahead to the future to see that this is going to become awkward if I don't embrace this situation and make the most of it and fucking reach in and grab them, slap their back.
I believe what we're dealing with here are maneuver rectifiers. And what you've done is you've gone in for maneuvers and you've had to rectify them at some point. I often believe that, you know, hug good friend on the goodbye phase, and then you go to shake someone's hand, but you realise that, like, as your hand's getting closer and you've gone past the point of turning it into a hug, you have to, like, and you realise, hey, I actually connected with this guy, you know, this guy could be a future friend. Then is when the maneuver rectifier comes in, and you end up being like, yeah, fucking really, like, no, I had some really good talks in here. No, it's cool. Trying
You
to
kind of recap.
I've
make them
gotta
feel
recap.
good.
never
The lack
recapped.
of
I've never
human
recapped.
contact that they've
You a
received.
recapper?
I recap by like blah blah blah. That joke we had 40 minutes ago. Did a like I won't be like
Okay,
nice to talk to you.
I
I'll
don't
just
know you
like
that well.
remind them
Bring
of
it in
something.
for a hug.
Are you talking about
And then
recapping?
what-
I don't
and
know
what-
you that well, but I know you well enough, or I respect you well enough to remember what we spoke
Like,
about.
do you sum up the situation when you're having those third person weird awkward
usually
hugs?
I just forget.
Do you
stuff.
sum it up? Do you bring it in and go, look, we didn't talk that much. We had a
Like
couple
it's
of
a
Well,
job
we're like Dr. Phil them.
we
in
exchanged
the-
a couple of little we exchanged a couple of little sentences to each other. I saw you smirk a little joke I had, and look, I had a little bit of a smirk at your joke too.
A full recap.
It's like a
How do you-
post-game commentary before they elect the MVP. Like, all right, let's go through it.
I want to know who died and elected you fucking like class report card time.
Yeah.
with people you haven't met. It's like, hey, look, I thought you did really well in and sort of staying out of my way. You know, I'm quite close with this group of friends, and I really would hate for anything to come between it. But what I did like,
I thought you could have been cooler.
in terms of an outsider coming in, is that while you stood aside, you also interjected at just the right moments where it didn't